with me throughout the sands of time. Love me through the dark desert night. Hold me close, be my partner in crime. Love like glue, the water tide.
I just need to know that you're gonna be ride or die. If kingdoms turned into dust, would you still be my ally? If life wrapped its hands around my neck, bow tie, would you still love me? Just let me know if. What up, Pride? It's your boy Amari, back again with another reaction video. It's been a while since you guys have seen my face. A lot happened, like a lot. Most notably, I got very, very sick, like the sickest I've ever been. I thought I was gonna die for like a pretty decent stretch in there. It was bad, but
I never yielded. And as you can see, I am not dead.
so we are getting back into the Hamilton process. This is actually the last video in our Hamilton demo / workshop series. After this, we're going to be getting into both the Hamilton mixtape, which I know a lot of you guys have been waiting on, and Wicked. I will be reacting to Wicked as well. So if you're interested in seeing my reactions to Wicked, definitely make sure to subscribe, stick around, don't unsubscribe. You get the point. So much more coming in the future. I'm going to try to make up for lost time. I don't know if you can hear, I'm not all the way better yet, but I'm good enough to film, and that's good enough for me. Hopefully it is good enough for you guys as well. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Hopefully you guys have had many great days since the last time you've seen me. And thank you for your patience. Okay, let's get into this. I'll see all you guys on the other side.
I watched Hamilton examine the terrain. I wish I could tell you what was happening in his brain. Just apologize, we have worthier pursuits.
Most disputes die and no one shoots. No.
Hamilton was where
First off, this has a different name. This is called like 10 things, one thing, I think. Yeah, 10 things, one thing. But here, just apologize, we have worthier pursuits. It's something about political pursuits in the final version. That's that's the world was wide enough, I think. Yeah, the world was wide enough, which is basically 10 Duel Commandments Part 3, because we have obviously the original 10 Duel Commandments, and then we have where Philip dies, basically, his little battle, which is like the reprise of 10 Duel Commandments, and then we have the world is wide enough, which also includes this like, hold on. Okay, so yeah, so this man is poisoned by political pursuits, which is ironic considering like you challenged him to the duel, my guy, but okay, whatever. That aside, yeah, just apologize, we have worthier pursuits, which, I mean, they both say about the same thing, but I do like the fact that this like really points out the fact that like y'all really were about to fight to the death over politics, which unfortunately or fortunately, now politicians more like send other people to go die on their behalf, which has kind of been how most politicians have been throughout history. It hasn't really been like you putting your own life on the line. I actually would probably be better if politicians did put their own lives on the line instead of the lives of like a bunch of poor kids. But yeah, interesting that like the change in the line there like really drives home the fact that like all of this at the end of the day, yes, it's honor, it is protecting your name and whatever, but it's all politics. And so interesting. Okay, anyway, back. I don't know if this is like editing here. I don't know how long 10 things, one thing is in the actual like workshop itself, or was in the actual workshop itself, and how much of this is edited, but they didn't do the full countdown at the beginning of this video. And so I found that interesting. But in the final version that this song ends up getting, I guess, swapped out with, which is The World Was Wide Enough, we get the full on extended rendition of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 motif.
I watched Hamilton examine the terrain.
Yeah, this must just be editing because that starts on 3. I didn't catch that before. So leading up to this must be the same prior to that, which is why they didn't put it in the video.
I watched Hamilton examine the terrain. I wish I could tell you what was happening in his brain. Just apologize, we have worthier pursuits.
Most disputes die and no one shoots. No.
Hamilton was wearing his glasses. Why? If not to take deadly aim. That's when I realized this was not a game. I had only one thought before the slaughter. This man will not make an orphan of my daughter.
That set so many people off, the orphan line, but that's not why I paused. The game line. He was talking about the glasses. If not to take deadly aim. I'm gonna play it again because whatever. But that's when I realized this was not a game. They turned it into just another reference back to the musical itself, which is interesting because a lot of these changes have been like them pulling out some of the motif references, which is crazy given how many we ended up with. But this is actually them adding one. Okay, so yeah, it's him or me, the world will never be the same. That's an obvious reference. I'm not even gonna explain that. You should know that by now. If you've watched until this point in my extensive Hamilton reaction series, you also know that I know the reference here. Okay, but anyway, this part is the part that I was telling you that everybody gets upset about. People were really upset about like the orphan of my daughter thing. They were like, well, she wasn't a little kid. She was like either a young adult or like late teenager or whatever, which that doesn't really change what being an orphan is. But that aside, I get the point that Burr is relaying to the audience that Lynn wanted us to get, which is basically that for Burr, especially given the fact that he's already lost his wife, meaning his daughter has already lost her mother, if he dies, she has no one. Whereas, as effed up as it is to think about, like Alex's kids would still have Eliza if he doesn't make it home, which is exactly what happens, versus if Burr died, then Theodosia had no one. So like that level of like it's you or me, it's him or me, the world will never be the same. Whatever happens, this is going to be a historic moment, and by golly it was. But from the perspective of the selfishness that comes with parenthood, not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying selfishness in a bad sense, but in like if I have to choose between taking care of my children or taking care of you, a person who is my political enemy, or like your children, I'm obviously going to choose my own children. And so I actually really like that line. I've always thought that it hits. And I think Leslie's delivery of it is like exceptional. And so I'm glad that was like always in there. They changed the that's when I knew this wasn't a game thing, which like I kind of get, because like obviously that is a figure of speech. They never thought it was a game, but it is kind of like ridiculous to like challenge someone to a duel to the death and not be taking it serious regardless, And so the eventual line that we get, which is the "it's him or me" line, is better because it never implies that there was a moment where Burr didn't take this seriously. Does that make sense?
If not to take deadly aim, that's when I realized this was not a game. I had only one thought before the slaughter. This man will not make an orphan of my daughter.
Number 9.
Look him in the eyes, aim no higher. Summon all the courage you require, then count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He aims his pistol at the sky.
Wait!
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
One last thought.
Number 1.
Before we got in the boat to cross the Hudson, I stopped to write a note. Actually, I wrote 2, just in case I didn't make it through. I want the world to know what I intended to do.
Number 3.
If I shoot first and throw it away, he has to yield. We both get to live another day. I know this puts me in a difficult spot, but I've got to throw away my shot.
Number 4.
I get
I like this. So this is the song that you guys referenced at the time when I watched The World Was Wide Enough. You guys were like, there's another version of this song that gives you more of Alexander's thought process, because throughout The World Was Wide Enough, we are getting an outside perspective of Alex's thoughts leading up to the situation via them being told to us third person through Burr. And so this gives you Alex's perspective, but it's still after he got shot. It's just like a, they literally count backwards with the 10 dual commandments, which is interesting because I feel like back in the workshop version, they did have like the actual rewinding aspect that happens in Satisfied. So they could have done it in the exact same way, like musically. Here, they didn't. They did like there's like some musical weirdness in here that happens during this part after he gets hit with the bullet. Great animation, by the way. This face right here, ooh, so good, so much emotion. Okay, anyway, this gun could use a little work, but we're not focused on that right now. Okay, we're focused on his face. Anyway, this section in here, there's like some weird musical stuff. I'll go back and play that again, but they let you know, even if you aren't closely like following what's going on, to pick up on the fact that they're going back in time. They count backwards, which is like another little nod to that, which I think is dope. But I like the fact that they give us Alex's perspective, because you guys know me. I'm always a more information, more context, more everything kind of person. So this is just more stuff that we can include in our understanding of the moment, at least from the perspective of Lynn. I don't know if any of this was like in books or stuff, or the letters that Hamilton actually wrote actually included all of this stuff, or if Lynn is like taking some creative liberties to like fill in gaps in Alex's consciousness, which if that is the case, then I can see why he would remove that. But that said, this song, the actual song itself is like 5 minutes long, I think. Yeah, 5 minutes and 2 seconds long. This version that they replaced isn't as long as this song here, which means that some of those additional cuts that they made earlier were to make room to add additional stuff into the final song. I actually really like this final song. It's weird because it's like, it's good in the beginning musically, and then there's like a bunch of like dialogue stuff, and then it's good musically at the very end. The parts where Burr is like lamenting and reminiscing on the fact that like he should have been wise enough to know that the world was wide enough for the both of them. Yeah. Anyway, back to the point. We're gonna play this section again because there's some distinct musical changes that make reference to the fact that like some funny things are happening time-wise, aka they're going back in the future, but I don't remember exactly what it was. I just remember thinking, oh, that's different. And at the time, I didn't realize like, oh, this is a reference to them going back.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, he aims his pistol at the sky. Wait! 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
One last thought.
Number 1.
Before we got in the boat to cross the Hudson, I stopped to write a note. Actually, I wrote 2, just in case I didn't make it through. I want the world to know what I intended to do.
Number 3.
If I shoot first and throw it away, he has to yield. We both get to live another day. I know this puts me in a difficult spot, but I've got to throw away my shot.
Number 4.
This particular section, I like how many internal rhymes are in it. The rhyme scheme itself isn't incredibly complex, but it's nice. So just in this section, in number 1, we have boat, note, wrote, 1 line. The wrote leads directly into the 2 because he wrote 2 letters, which is, pretty cute and clever. Actually, I don't think 2-letter pretty cute and clever. Come on now. Okay, I still got it. So I don't think that he actually did that in the other 10 dual commandments where the numbers themselves actually complete the line, or like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like they're reading off commandments instead of the numbers being worked into the fabric of what the line itself is. And so I really like that they did that. It's kind of sad that they took it out, but I mean, it is what it is. Actually, I wrote 2 just in case I didn't make it through. I wanted the world to know what I intended to do. So again, 3-part internal rhyme there. Number 3, and then this right here is the away. So you have, if I shoot first, I throw it away. He has to yield. We both get to live another day. Away day, obviously. Oh, okay. So this is the one that changes it. So instead of doing a 3-part away rhyme, or a rhyme, I guess I should say a rhyme. I guess I should say, bruh. Okay. Anyway, I know this puts me in a difficult spot. I've got to throw away my shot. So you have spot, got, shot. So basically the away, it's like away and what else? A day. That's just like a little inside filler before we get to the next 3-part rhyme here, which is spot, got, shot, which is obviously very notable because like his entire thing is not throwing away his shot, but him walking away from himself here. So like his younger version, his very stubborn and ambitious version, walking away from this older, more mature version, not understanding the thought process that led him to being a person who would now willfully throw away his shot. I thought was like a very nice touch here. Made this moment way more impactful.
I want the world to know what I intended to do.
Number 3.
If I shoot first and throw it away, he has to yield. We both get to live another day. I know this puts me in a difficult spot, but I've got to throw away my shot.
Number 4.
I get lucky, I draw first position. I stand facing east as I load my ammunition. The sun is in my eyes, I am almost giddy as I watch it slowly rise over my New York City. I start to shake when I realize that we are in the same spot my son died. Is that why?
6.
I examined the gun that we shared. Philip never hurt a soul, he must have been so scared.
7.
My Eliza is still asleep. I left her a letter, I could have written it better.
Number 8.
Your last chance to negotiate. Send in your second, see if they can set the record straight. Put on my glasses so I can see if Burr is softening. I see him glaring back at me. He's always hated dueling, hated confrontation. I never had his instinct for self-preservation. I feel a sense of calm fill me. It's not in his political interest to kill me.
9.
My last thought is
Too bad he's a terrible shot. So it's yeah. That's interesting. It's not. Oh, okay. All right. So I have a few things to say here because shocker, it's me. So I feel a sense of calm fill me. It's not in his political interest to kill me. No, it is not. But it is in his parental interest to kill you because he's not thinking about politics as he is standing there. He's thinking about his daughter becoming an orphan. You are, as Burr says in the final version, your mind is still poisoned with political pursuits. You're still focused on politics. This is no longer about politics. This is a life or death situation, which has now shifted the context, at least for Burr, from our careers to our lives. The impact of our lives either being cut short or continuing on from here. And so, yeah, but I just like how this song goes to show that everything is about perspective. There's an artist named Amari where she has a song that says, it's all about your perspective. And she like goes through and takes you through the perspective of like a blind homeless man and how she felt so bad for him and like all of the struggles that he was having. And turns out that dude was happier than her because he was just enjoying his life. Whereas, you know, she's a multi-million-dollar artist and she's like over here basically feeling frustrated with her situation. And so the whole point is that it's like all about your perspective on the situation. And this particular situation or this particular song shows that in this situation where from one perspective, a man is fixing his glasses to see like I need to see you better. I can't act like the boy got astigmatism or something. He's trying to figure out like, are you still as serious about this as you were before? And the other person is seeing him trying to see as a sign that, okay, this isn't a game. This person is taking this seriously. So you see what I'm saying? It's all perspective. His fidgeting with the gun is him thinking about Philip. His sadness on his face or the expression on his face is both a combination of the sadness of his son having died in like basically the same spot and the sun being in his eyes as he looks over the city that he loves, which is New York. So it's like, do you get what I'm saying? It's all perspective. And I really love in storytelling and media where they're able to take you through the same. Now, sometimes it's used for like dramatic effect and it's not like necessary. But in this case, I actually really like it because it's going to show that, especially in a situation that is this serious and dire, small things like differences in perspective can greatly influence the outcome and influence the people's experience of that same particular situation. They weren't talking. If they were talking, if Burr had said, hey, why you squinting at me with your glasses on? Then Alex could have said, bro, I can't see. What you mean? Like, you know, I can't, I've been had these glasses. So, but because they weren't communicating, they didn't have to, but because they weren't communicating, they were having to then make cognitive leaps in what they thought were the thought process of the other person. Burr assuming Alex is way more serious about this than he is. Alex assuming Burr is way less serious about this than he is because it's just politics. And it's not good for your career to kill me. Like, you know, those things, all of those assumptions, you know what they say about assumptions, all of those assumptions could have been solved via better communication. And really this entire situation could have been solved by better communication. But it's just interesting to show the stark contrast, the absolute dichotomy between the two experiences of the men in these same situations, and is a great lesson in talk more, not talk less, talk more, communicate more. Always try to be on the same page, or at least communicate what page you're on with the other person in the situation.
I feel a sense of calm fill me. It's not in his political interest to kill me.
9,
My last thought is of Eliza. Maybe I can get back home before she opens her eyes. They put us through our paces. We count to 10. God, I can't wait to see her again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He aims his pistol at the sky.
Eliza!
I strike him right between his ribs.
Yeah, that was short. So we got 2.5 minutes of like what was left in, what was edited. I don't know how long the original workshop version was, because again, this is an edited video for me to watch. But the world was wide enough is originally 5 minutes. This is also the world was wide enough. So was no, because like, sorry, the world was wide enough. The version that we get is basically 2 songs in one, and it could have been they just did that. So instead of breaking those into 2 separate songs, so the world was wide enough, which is like the second half, and then 10 Things, One Thing, which is the first half, they just like smashed them into to one song. Versus before they were 2 separate songs. I kind of wish that they had kept it 2 separate songs, because I feel like there's such an energetic shift in the second song, and there's such a musical shift in the second half of the song that is The World Is Wide Enough, that it could have been nice for people who are listeners of the soundtrack who aren't listening to it all the way through. I know, blasphemy. There are some of you guys who, like, if you're going to listen to Hamilton, you're going to listen to everything top to bottom, start to finish, the whole way through. You ain't doing nothing else till you finish. I get it. But there's also people like me who like may just want to, hear Leslie sing for a little bit. And we don't really want to hear 10 Dual Commandments Part 3. We just want to hear The World Was Wide Enough for both Hamilton and me, because that goes super hard. Also, the little background vocals, the ahs that happen, which hopefully will still be included here, are so good. And again, musically, so different from the beginning part. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to this song that much because like it's kind of sad. But musically, this whole like ending section here, this song, and then the following song, Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story, all of that is like so good. Okay, anyway, I think the big change here is that 10 Things, One Thing was basically just like crammed into, like just smashed into The World Was Wide Enough, and they just made it one long song instead of 2 shorter songs.
I strike him right between his ribs.
Okay, it just dawned on me that like the rest of that song gets cut out, which means the part I was just referencing, you guys, we don't get to hear. So I am going to play it now because I can, and because it deserves it. This whole part is incredible, and it's like 1.5 minutes. So let's vibe, guys. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. Just like, I'm gonna let it finish, okay? But I'm just saying, bro, Leslie is not human. I've been saying this whole time, but he not. Like, you should not be able to say, I hear Waylon in the streets, and it go that hard. That's not even a hard line like that. Anyway, okay. We're going back. So hard, bro. It's so good. It's so good, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh. Anyway, you get the point. That whole section right there could have just very easily been its own song, because it was. And I could hear that all day. I know there's like so much misery and pain and general sadness in the loss of legacy and what could have been that you're hearing in Leslie's voice there portraying Burr. But at the same time, I don't really care, to be honest. Like, I don't care about Burr like that, so it don't really hit me in my feels in the same way that like hearing Alex die does, you know? Like I don't, that's kind of, yeah. And like Burr's all like super intense and like riled up leading into it's a lot, okay? It's a lot. So we could have just sectioned that off into its own song. I could have just, you know, skip past that. And I could listen to that all day, bruh. That was, for both Hamilton and me, bruh. Hamilton and me, personally, me. Amari, me. Okay. So good. Anyway, now into the last song. Yeah. So the 10 toes, keep wanting to call it 10 toes down. The 10 things, one thing song is basically just the world was wide enough part one, the first half of the world was wide enough. Then Alex gets shot. We get like some, what do we get? We get some introspective Alex moment, but it's not what he was going through leading up to it. It's more what he was thinking about in that moment. Yeah, I'll tell you terrible shots in seconds to make an orphan of my daughter. I imagine death so much. Yeah, so this section in here, instead of getting Alex's thought process leading up to the fight and like leading up to the shot itself, I guess, we instead get, I guess, Alex slowly bleeding out and his thoughts there, which are, to be honest, probably more impactful than, not probably, definitely more impactful than understanding his thought process leading up to the fight itself. Keep calling it a fight, the duel itself. But I still like, I like the showing of both perspectives leading up to the duel. I like the general rhyming of the like internal rhymes where they have like the 3-part internal rhyme for each specific type of rhyme. I just like that whole section. That's really cool to me. Again, you guys know my general motto, give us everything. So I would have been cool with like all of this plus what we got sectioned off into 2 songs. So like you could have had like the Burr leading up to the fight, and then you could have the shot, and, you know, go back. You can have Alex, his old stuff. Well, how would that work structure wise? Because would it go Alex old stuff, like his old thought process leading up to the duel, and then his current thought process after he's been shot would have to be tacked on at the end? I'm not sure. They could have worked it out in some like smooth way, but basically we got both. You know, got all of Alex's thought process leading up to the duel, as well as like during the preparation for the duel, and then his thought process as he's been shot and he's like reflecting on his life and dying, right? And then also gotten Burr's incredible "The World Was Wide Enough" vocals with the additional backing, just angelic ahs. That's the only way I can explain it. That are happening in the background. Yeah, so good. And then led into this song, which is like super cute and also kind of sad and emotional, but also super cute.
My very dear Eliza, this letter will not be delivered to you unless I shall first have terminated my earthly career, to begin a happy immortality. I need not tell you of the pangs I feel from the idea of quitting you and exposing you to the anguish which I know you would feel, nor could I dwell on the topic lest it should unman me. Fly to the bosom of your God and be comforted with my last idea. I shall cherish the sweet hope of meeting you in a better world. Adieu, best of wives and best of women, ever yours, Alexander.
Hey.
Let me tell you what I wish.
The actual snippet from his letter, I'm assuming that is Eliza basically just reciting the letter that Alex wrote her. He wrote 2, but I'm guessing the one that she got sent after he died is that one that we heard there, because I know that several different sections of the musical make reference to like actual letters and actual passages from historical text. So that's what I'm assuming is that there. I think, that's kind of heavy, like, and sad, like knowing he was writing that while alive, anticipating potentially dying. and that Eliza was reading this now knowing that he did in fact die. It's kind of sad, but also the boy was a wordsmith. Like he had the pin on him. Okay, he had the pin on him. He kept it locked and loaded. So, just from that perspective, and from a perspective of like embedding more and more of actual history into the musical, I like that there. From a time perspective, I get kind of cutting it out because they do make reference to like the Best of Wives and Best of Women thing already with the letter prior to the duel. But I don't know. I like it. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you think that section there with the actual reading of the letter before Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story is necessary. I also really like the placement of it there. That's a really good placement right before the song that one ties up the overall narrative of the musical and the musical itself, but two goes through and basically tells you, hey, these are all of the things that Eliza does after Alex dies. Well, one of the things Eliza does after Alex dies is read his letters, read his writings. This one is literally written to her, was written for the express purpose of her reading it after he dies. So yeah, I like the placement of that. That's great. Anyway, let's continue.
Idea. I shall cherish the sweet hope of meeting you in a better world. Adieu, best of wives and best of women, ever yours, Alexander.
Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
President Jefferson.
With Hamilton gone, I dismantled the Federalist Party. He did leave us with good credit, though. I got Louisiana on sale.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
President Madison. He was in a position to enrich himself 1,000 ways, and he didn't. Does that make him foolish or honest?
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Every other founding father.
It makes him prideful. It makes him neither. Well, I mean, yes, it does by default make him honest, although I wouldn't. He was too honest in certain ways and not honest enough in other ways. We're not going to go through all of that, but it makes him prideful from the standpoint of having pride in the integrity of his work, having pride in his position, not pride as in like being haughty, but, you know, having like a sense of pride in what he does and wanting to do it right and knowing that he can do it right without having to, you know, skim some off the top. So yeah, that's dope. Also interesting that some of the changes that they made, I don't remember. I know that Jefferson, instead of talking about the Louisiana Purchase, talks about how he tried to destroy what Hamilton had built and he couldn't. What does Madison talk about? Let's see. Okay, so for the record, I like that better. I like what was eventually said about him more. President Jefferson dismantled he didn't credit though. Yeah, so they pushed the credit thing to Madison instead of having Jefferson say. I just like the fact that like they speak more to the stuff that he would have cared about. Like he cares more. He would have cared more about being recognized for being a genius and creating a system that couldn't be destroyed by his enemies, and just basically being really effing competent and great at his job than solely being considered a honest, decent person, you know? Also, Jefferson's original statement is like, oh yeah, so he's gone now, so I took his party apart. Like, that's not really honoring Hamilton at all. Like, my point is, I get why they rewrote these little snippets, and I like what they came up with better at the end than what is said here.
Who tells your story?
President Jefferson.
With Hamilton gone, I dismantled the Federalist Party. He did leave us with good credit, though. I got Louisiana on sale.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
President Madison. He was in a position to enrich himself 1,000 ways, and he didn't. Does that make him foolish or honest?
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Every other founding father story gets told. She is buried in Trinity Church near you. When I needed her most, she was right on time. Every day is new. I ask myself, what would you do?
And I'm still not through. Every day is new. They're the same. They're the same thing. Like they're not, but they are though. Really, and it's like one line change, so I don't think it has like a major impact on it. So I'm just gonna keep going. But if you have some preference for one line over the other, let me know. You can say so in the comment section down below. But for me, they both work. They both like fit the rhyme scheme and like the actual notation of the section. So like, you know, like I don't really have a strong opinion either way.
He was right on time. Every day is new. I ask myself, what would you do if you had more time? The Lord in his kindness, he gives me what you always wanted. He gives me more time. I lived to meet so many subsequent presidents.
She tells your story.
I speak out against slavery. You could have done so much more if you only had time. And I ask myself, if I've done enough, will I tell your story? Oh.
Okay, so this has like a few lines changed that I feel like aren't crazy big, but the impact on these, I think, hit harder. The part where she talks about raising funds for the Washington Monument, I feel like that was super important because I had no idea she did that. So the fact that she did, like, saying she lived to meet so many more presidents is already being said when it says that she got 50 more years. Like, in theory, not everybody who lives another 50 years is going to actually meet the presidents. But you get what I'm saying. Her husband was a famous founding father, a part of politics. Her living longer and meeting more presidents is kind of a given, you know? It's not 100% certainty, but it's kind of said within there. Whereas the raising funds in DC for the Washington Monument, that was like mind-blowing for me. Like, I had no idea she did that. So I love that they included that little tidbit in there, adding more context to the accomplishments and life of Eliza. I think that was dope. And then in here, something else changes. I asked myself versus when my time is up. I don't know. I think when my time is up, have I done enough? Like, I had like a whole little rant that was like spiraled off of that. I just think it really, it hits harder than when I ask myself. You can ask yourself things at any given time throughout your life versus like when your time is up. When you are asking yourself questions at the end of your life, that's a different gravity to the situation, different weight to the questions that you're asking and the answers that you end up with as a result of said questions. So yeah, I really like this line and the previous line that they changed. I think it's a half of one line that's getting changed in each particular scenario, but it's so much more impactful with what we ended up with.
He gives me what you always wanted. He gives me more time. I lived to meet so many subsequent presidents.
She tells your story.
I speak out against slavery. You could have done so much more if you only had time. And I ask myself, if I've done enough, will I tell your story? Oh, can I show you what I'm proudest of? Oh, I can't wait to see you again. It's only a matter of time.
Nah. Oh, wait, there's more stuff happening with me. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is a very sweet note here. But you know me, I'm distracted by the musical changes. The little times here, the triplet of times is so good. I prefer it so much over this like long sustained note that we have here. I'm gonna let it rock out and then we're gonna play like the way better idea that they came up with. But yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see you again. It's only a matter of time.
Okay. So it's in here somewhere. Then in the soundtrack, we don't get the you know that we get in the actual like musical itself. Wow, that was that was a lot. I was not. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, are we done? Yeah. I'll talk about it more in the end. But like that, you heard that, right? That's so much. It's so much better. That's one of my favorite musical phrases throughout the entire musical. Really, this and the song right before this, which is "The World Is Wide Enough for the Both of Us." Both of those have great ensemble harmony moments that are incredibly crucial to my overall appreciation and the thematic and emotional weight of those moments. And so the fact that one of them, I'm not sure if it was in there or not, because like the video edits past that. And then the other one they have here, but it's just not nearly as impactful. Yeah, it's such a small change, but makes such a massive difference. And especially given that's like the last thing you hear musically in the musical. And so, yeah, I don't know whose idea it was to go from the long sustained notes to those shorter time phrases. And they also like, one of them walks down the note. It's also melodically more dynamic. Like there's just more notes happening on the individual times. There's more notes happening on one of those times than this entire long time thing here, let alone combining all of them. So yeah, it's better. It's better. I'm not even leaving this up for debate. I don't even want to hear other people's opinions on it. The final version is better there on so many more levels. And so, yeah, really, really, really love that change that they made there. The one that they have there is more like drawn out and turned like methodical. And I guess you could say like, oh, it's a deeper sense of reflection and closure. I don't care. I don't care. This one's better. It's better. It's better. It's better. It's better. It just sounds better. It allows the additional who tells your story. What else is said in there? Because there's other stuff other than time happening. Yeah. Will they tell your story? Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? Will they tell your story? Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? It's better. So anyway, outro time. Okay, yeah. So this was such an interesting process. I feel like I learned so much about the way that Lynn and Alex LaCroix, whatever the other creative involved in the creation of this. I feel like I learned so much about how their brains worked via seeing the other versions of the songs that we got, the songs that got cut, the songs that made it, but were very much changed from the initial version to the final version, changed from the demo to the workshop to the final version, so on and so forth. It just feels like not only a peek behind the curtain, but like by sitting and seeing what they did keep, didn't keep, and the changes that were made, it gives you a deeper understanding into like their musical thought process, which I thought was so dope. This process has been long, but so informative on the final changes. And it also was not lost on me that most of the changes that they made, I felt like were the right changes. While some of the stuff that they cut, I felt like could have also gone in. It was very rarely that I was like, yeah, what made it was the worst version. And so the years that they spent working on this musical, I feel like it really paid off, and really the cream of the crop rose to the top over the course of this process. Just seeing the different changes musically, musical phrases, different lyrical changes. Of course, there are things that I missed, like the Adams administration, like full version is just so much better. Like there are obvious changes that I wish they would have kept in, but I also understand the musical can only be so long. There can only be so many songs, so on and so forth. But for the most part, the changes that they made, I'm like, yes, I get it. It is better. The version that we got slaps. It is incredible. The version that you had before was good. It's just not as good. And so both the courage to make changes to something that is already really good, but also the skill to turn something that is good into something that is great, I think is on display consistently throughout this process. And I wouldn't have been able to see that without these workshops and demos being released. So I'm so incredibly grateful that we got them. I'm so thankful that you guys cut these together for me to watch, recommended them. I will be reacting to the Hamilton mixtape as well, but I don't know like in relation to this, like how that's different. I don't really get the differences between it. But then again, coming into the demo and workshop, I didn't really get what a workshop was and what was gonna be happening. But we figured it out along the way, we figured it out. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it's like so cool that we got to see this behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if all musicals like this happens, if this is like just because of the way that Lynn's brain works that he decided to release these, or if it's just because Hamilton got so big that people were clamoring for like more additional auxiliary content. I don't know, but I know that for me, after coming off of the musical, then seeing this, I actually got a deeper, greater appreciation for the musical during this process. So fun to do this. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming along with me during this process. A lot of people fell off, sadly, but it is what it is. I enjoyed this process, and once I started, I was committed to it. Like I said, I will be reacting to the mixtapes, and so I don't know what's on that, but I know that there's some stuff that was supposed to be in this that you guys were asking for that wasn't in this, that was instead in the mixtape. And some stuff that you guys were asking for was in this process. I don't know, but if there's a song, auxiliary song from Hamilton that I had not reacted to in this process, that's just because it wasn't in a part of this process. It's probably gonna be on the mixtape, so I'm gonna hit it then. Hopefully you stick around to see that. Thank you so much for being here, and again, thank you for your patience in waiting for me to like get better from my sickness to actually film again. The video was like very difficult to actually get out. I'm not all the way better. I had to stop halfway through just to recover, because this process is a little bit more energy intensive than it may seem. But I enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, much more content coming in the near future. So definitely make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share not to miss more content like this. And I'm seeing all of you guys here on the show next time. Have a great day.
Neurotoxin, cytotoxin, giving all its effects, it just can't be boxed in. It's so strong, I have to call it oxin. Feel it deep in your veins, like hemotoxin. Cytotoxin, myotoxin, it raises your hair, it's all over your skin. When music hits, it'll make your head spin. Feel it deep in your brain, like neurotoxin. I'm the Goliath, Leone on the scene. Feel the vibration, no stock of beans. Cut out the burrow, hit you with the turbo. Don't need a referral to know I'm mean. Why am I blue green? It's just a smoke screen. Helps inject cuisine like a new vaccine. You're shaking your denim when you feel this venom. Not talking black violence comes from your spleen.